My name is Sunday Bada. I am here again to teach you guys how to solve mathematics question. Today's topic is bearing. We are going to start from the question 6, which is the last question for today. P is 40 kilometers away from point Q and on the bearing of 33 degrees. Another point R is 65 kilometers from Q and a bearing of 125 degrees. Calculate correct to the nearest whole number. The distance between the P and the R and the bearing of P from R. The first thing we are going to look here is where is the starting point? Is it P or Q? If you look at the question says from point Q. It means that the Q is the starting point. Therefore, on the bearing of what? 33 degrees. Let's draw 33 from here like this. And this place will be P because P is 40 kilometers. Let's put the 40 kilometer here. Wait. And the next question is that another point R is 65 kilometers from the same point Q and a bearing of 125. Now, on a bearing of 125, we start from this way from here to here is what? 90. Now say 91, 92, 93, 94, 125. We start from here. 125 should go like. And this line should be longer than that 40 kilometer because we have 40 kilometer here and we have 65 kilometer. There should just be a difference between 40 and 65 so that you know that there is difference. This one will be 65 kilometer because it's longer. Not that it must be exactly 65 kilometer. Just assume. Now we are going to join the P and this place will be R. That's what we just constructed, which is another point R, 65 kilometer. Now let's join it together. Now, when you have question like this, let's try and construct our angle. If you look at here, the angle we draw here, the bearing from here to here is what? We say is 33 degrees. It means that the remaining one, you know, this place is right angle, which is 90. Now say 90 minus 33. What will now be the interior angle here? The interior angle here will be 57, isn't it? And we draw another one, which is 125, that go like this, that join the point R is 125 that we draw. After this 90, and we draw the what? 125, where we stop as 125. What you just need to do is just say 125 minus 90, because 90 stop here. Let me just. From here to here, we say is 33, isn't it? We call this way 33 degrees, isn't it? And we know that from here to here is 90. And the remaining number that remain for this place to be 90, 34, 35, 36, 90 is what? 57 degrees. This place will be right angle, isn't it? And we draw another one, which is 125. The 125 that we start from here is going to start from this 91, 92, 93, 125. Therefore, what is the distance here from this 90 to here? We are going to say 125 minus 90. When we remove the first 90 of the right angle, what is it going to give us? It's going to give us the 35 degrees. This way is going to give us 35 degrees. Therefore, this place will give us what? 35 degrees. Therefore, what is the angle of this point Q? Of this point Q? We are going to say 57 plus 35. What is it going to give us? It's going to give us 92 degrees. 92 degrees. This total here will be 90. Yes, like I said, this way is going to give us what? 92 degrees. Which formula can we use now? When you have two sides with one angle, it means that we are going to use cosine rule formula. But if it is sine rule and it gives us two angles with one side, we are going to use sine rule. Now, this perfect formula for this question like this, we are going to use cosine rule. This Q, we have small letter q. That's what the question is about. The distance between the P and Q. The opposite of that capital Q is the small letter. This capital P, the opposite of it is small letter p. The small letter of this R, the opposite of it, which is the distance, is 40 kilometers. Therefore, we are going to use what? Cosine rule formula. What is the formula? Q raised to power 2 equals to the small p plus small r raised to power 2 minus 2pr R cosine capital letter Q. This is the formula we are going to use to solve this question. Now, what is our Q, small letter Q? We don't know. What is our small letter P? 65 kilometer raised to power 2 plus what is our small letter R? 40 raised to power 2 minus 2 multiplied by 65 multiplied by 40 cosine. What cosine do you have? 92 degree. Cosine 92 degree. Now, let's begin to pieces it. What is 65 times 65? It's going to give us 4,225 plus 40 times 40 is going to give us 1,600 minus 2 times 65 times 40. It's going to give me 5,200. 5,200. What is cosine 92? Cosine 92 degree. It's going to give me negative minus 0.03449. Therefore, let's continue. 4,225 plus 4,225 plus 1,600 is going to give me 5,825 minus 5,200 multiplied by 0.0349. You know there is a negative there before. Therefore, we are going to put the negative again. It's going to give us 5,200 multiplied by 0.0349. It's going to give me minus 181.48. Minor times minor is going to give me what? Plus 25 plus 181.48. Now, when we add this together, 5,825, it's going to give me what? It's going to give me 6,660.48. Now, we put the square root. Now, what is the square root of this? We are going to move the square root of that Q on top of that. We're going to have this 6006.48. It's going to give us 77.5. Approximate to the whole number, to the nearest whole number. We're going to turn this 5 into 1 and add this to the 7. It's going to give us what? 78 kilometer. The Q, our distance between the P and R is what? 78 kilometer. The next question, bearing of P from Q. It means that the bearing from this R to P, from here to here, here. Now, this space is filled up. Let's go to the next page so that we continue from there. Our Q, that distance between the P and R is 78. The next question is bearing of P from Q. Let's go to the next page. Now, the question is asking bearing of P from Q. It means that this bearing from here, you know, we count our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 90 already, 90 degree. 91, 92, another 90 degree, another 90 degree, isn't it? And this space, what are we going to count there? If this space is 35 degree and this space will be what? 35 degree. It is called angle of alternative angle, something like this. Because under here we have 35, which is 35 degree here, and this space will also be what? 35 degree. That's why we have 35 degree here. 90, 90, 90, that's 270. 270 plus 35 degree, and this angle here that made the bearing that we draw, the bearing from bearing of P from where? From R. What is it? The line that we draw to the P. That's what the question is asking us. Asking us. Now we are going to look for the angle here so that we add this together with this one. We already have what? 90 plus 90, 180. 180 plus 90, that's 270 degree. Plus 35 degree. And plus this degree that you are trying to look for. That's the bearing the question is asking, or that the bearing of P from R. Now let's calculate the bearing, the angle here. What are we going to use? We are going to use sine rule because we have complete of the Q angle here and the distance here. And for the R, we don't have the angle here, but we have the distance of the 40 kilometer. It means that it's only one that is missing here. And we have complete here for the Q, angle and the distance. Therefore, sine capital letter Q divided by small q over sine R, capital letter R over small r. What is sine Q? Sine Q is 92 degree divided by the small q, which is what we just got now, 78 kilometer, and sine R, capital letter R, we don't know it, which is, you write it the way it is. What is our small r? The opposite of that r is what? 40 kilometer. The next thing we are going to cross multiply. So multiply by this. We have sine theta 78 sine 92 degree multiplied by 40. Divide both sides by coefficients of sine theta is 78. 78. 78 cos 78. We have this one. Now let's use our calculator. Sine 92. What is it going to give us? It's going to give us 0.99939 multiplied by 40. What is it going to give us? It's going to give us 39. Write it out here. Sine theta equals to 39.976 divided by 78. When we divide it by 78, what is it going to give us? It's going to give us 0.5125. Now we are trying to look for the angle. Now, how do we calculate this one? Because we are going to use calculator to calculate. When you have to press on your calculators, just press 0.5125. The first thing that you need to press to convert this to degree. First thing, press shift. After shift, then press the sign. The sign will show something like this. Theta is going to be sine -1. It's going to show -1, 0.5125. When it shows -5, just press is equal to. It's going to give you your answer in degree. Therefore, our theta is 30.8 degree or 31 approximate to the nearest whole number, 31 degree. Therefore, if you want to get the total bearing from the total bearing of P from R, from here 90, 90, 35, and this space is what? Is 31 degree. I'm going to cancel this one, change it to 31 degree. What is the total? Is going to give us 270 plus 35 plus 31. Is going to give us the total of 336 degree. Therefore, the answer is what? 336 degree. The bearing of P from R is 336 degree. Thank you for listening. I remain Sunday Bada. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like this. Bye bye.